Congratulations, Lisa. It's such a pleasure to have you with us this year as a top 25 leading woman entrepreneur.
And I'm very happy to be here. I'm very humbled by the nomination and the award, and I'm looking forward to getting involved in your organization.
Thank you, and we're looking forward to you joining us.
Good.
So let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you and your company and how you started.
Okay, my name is Lisa Chowansky, and I'm president of HC Constructors. We're based in White House Station, New Jersey. We're a civil contractor, so we do underground utility, concrete, grading and excavation, dirt work, site work, any of the underground work that occurs before the building is erected and before they start on that phase of construction. So that's what we do.
Incredible. I mean, it's so rare to come across a woman who's in such a non-traditional field. And I'd love to hear a little bit about your backstory on how you got involved in this industry.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I always say to people when they ask, how did you choose construction? I really don't feel like I chose construction. I feel like construction chose me. So when I graduated from college, I went to work for Johnson & Johnson, and at the same time my family was building this business. So I was in selling services for about 10 years with J&J. I was an account manager, and then I was account executive, and I really learned a lot about selling services, contract management, customer relations, how to manage and negotiate those deals. And I decided that this was a great opportunity for our family, for me to step in. They had a need for someone to run the business, and so that's what I did.
Okay, so you had the corporate education and that cultural lesson, which is really important, blended with the family business. And
right, like I didn't grow up dreaming of driving a dump truck, but I really learned a lot about business, and I felt like I could bring something to this family business that it really didn't have. So I stepped in, I took over, and that's how it happened.
Great. So back to that, didn't dream of, this whole exact plan, but did you always have some sort of entrepreneurial drive within you?
I think I did. I think it took a while for me to tap into that, because when I worked for Johnson & Johnson, the feedback I would always get from my supervisors was like, you're running this business like it's your own.
Yeah.
And for me, innately, that was how you should run every business, no matter who you were working for, whether it be yourself or for someone else. You should be looking to make the business better, continuous improvement, stay within your budget. So these were all things that I really felt were important, and I'm not sure where that came from, but I always felt that that was an important part of who I was and how I wanted to work. So for me, even though having your own business is challenging, it was something that I wanted to do, and I always had, the drive to do that.
Right. What's been the biggest challenge for you as an entrepreneur in a non-traditional field, and then also your favorite part of being in this world?
I think probably the most challenging aspect is the construction industry and being a female in the construction industry. It takes a lot of time to establish your credibility with a customer that previously when I worked for J&J, the credibility came with the Johnson & Johnson name. It's like, oh, she works for Johnson & Johnson. She must know what she's doing. But to establish credibility within construction, you really have to show your customer that you know what you're talking about, that you can build that trust relationship, that we're going to get the work done on time, safely, within their budget. And really, it took a lot of grit to just keep pressing through that, as opposed to taking feedback that you really don't know what you're doing, which is what a lot of times people would say, quite honestly. So it kind of took that grit of saying, you know what, I know what I'm talking about here. So I just need you to understand what I know, and then we can build a relationship and we can move forward on doing business. So
right, totally resonate with everything you just said. And there's nothing I respect more than than entrepreneurs who create something out of nothing, right? And there's a big difference when you're living in that path. So congratulations to you again for being able to master that.
Thank you.
So let's go to advice. Is there any advice that you would give to women who basically want to get into construction or anything that's maybe considered outside the norm?
I think you need to be prepared to have that persistence, because when it comes to being an entrepreneur, nothing is placed on your lap. You really have to, like you're saying, you have to build it. And if you're not willing to put the energy and the persistence into building whatever it is that you love to do, and like me, it might not be something throughout your childhood you went, oh, I always wanted to own an ice cream shop or whatever. Right. It might not be something that comes to you right away, but when an opportunity does present itself, you need to have the confidence and the courage to take that opportunity and to take it as far as, you see fit. Whatever you define success, that's how far you have to take it.
Right. You got to commit to it and
right.
believe in
100%,
yourself.
100%, yeah.
If you had more time to do anything you wanted, what would you do?
If I had more time to do anything I wanted, I would probably travel more, because I think that travel and understanding different cultures and meeting people who don't necessarily think the way that you do really helps you open up your mind to even to business opportunities, because you start thinking differently and you start seeing things differently, and you see opportunities that you may not have seen as an opportunity before. So I think just maybe spending more time with people and talking and networking, which is why I'm excited about your organization, really helps you hone in on what your business needs to be doing and what opportunities you might be missing because you're so caught up in the daily grind of what you're doing to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Having a different perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Is so important.
And I think travel gives you that, because it forces you to go, especially outside the United States, because it forces you to do things you're uncomfortable with, right? You have to try to communicate, so every time you feel uncomfortable, I feel like you gain something, in the long run.
Well, hopefully you're going to come on some of our retreats with us. So that's the next
I don't know
step.
about Cuba, but...
Okay, then we'll go to the next one. Okay, so last question for our recognition events this year. Our theme is being the change.
Right.
How do you envision yourself being the change within your organization or your community or industry as a whole? Well,
within our organization, our current VP of estimating is female. Most of our estimators are female. So I have made an effort to really recruit and bring in top talent that maybe wasn't recognized before, because when people think construction, they might think of a 6'2", 250-pound guy versus a 5'2", female. So I've been really looking to recruit women who really want to do this. And our VP of estimating is an amazing example of someone who wanted to do construction all of her life and just loves it. I also have 4 daughters, so as far as teaching them how to balance work family, how to be kind of intense in their pursuit of what they want to do and not to let anyone define them, because I think for women in particular it's very easy to be defined by society versus you defining what you're comfortable with and then you take that forward. So within that, and then I'm also serving on the board of directors for the Professional Women in Construction, which is a great group of women who are involved in construction, and it has grown significantly over the years because more people are jumping in. It's interesting to look at college graduates now, like we go to student fairs and internship fairs, and the women there are not so floored by the fact that they're in construction, which is a great sign. They're not like, oh, I'm kind of in construction with, half the room is male, or 90% of the room is male. It's more, not a big deal.
Here's to making
not
construction mainstream. I love it. So, all right. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll look forward to celebrating you on November 13th.
Awesome.
At the Liberty House.
I can't wait.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Great.
Thanks.